Winter is coming and the ocean is freezing.
We're out here on the frozen sea ice and we're hunting for a seal.
Bisa
ka training now?
Tatam, ali ko namin.
I'm in a tiny village in Greenland where the sun is just coming back after a winter of darkness. And yet, the ice around here is at its highest point. I'm actually on an island, but no boats are getting in and out of here anytime soon. I've been moving through Greenland, trying to get to villages and settlements that are impossibly far away. Villages like this dot the coast of Greenland. Settlements of people living impossibly high up on the globe, living on these rocks that are spilling off of the world's largest and iciest island. I set out to go to one of these northerly villages, to try to understand what happens to them when the ice closes in and their world transforms, turning from liquid to solid, cutting them off from the world, but also opening them up to walk on water. So let me introduce you to a place that many don't know much about, Greenland. A place built on deep traditions, but one that is facing rapid change. I'm in this village in rural Greenland. The sun just came up after a very, very dark winter. It is negative 30 degrees, and I am trying to make it to a small island up the coast of Greenland. Here comes our airplane. We're taking that little plane, but that's just the beginning of our adventure here. Well, that was a stunning flight. Jeez. Now it's time to get on a helicopter. Okay, we made it to this island called Umanak. It's impossibly far away and impossibly beautiful. We still have one more leg to go to get to the island village that we are trying to get to. But the map doesn't actually look like this right now. It actually looks much more like this. Everything's frozen. Lucky for us, we can just walk on water. Are these seal?
Yeah.
Sealskin gloves.
And this is polar bear.
Oh, wow. So now we're just cruising on the sea ice. We're headed towards the village. During our ride along the sea ice, we stopped to feel the silence of this frozen landscape. The local who was towing me in his sled told me that I was lucky, that this ice was just barely thick enough. If I had come just a week earlier, I wouldn't have been able to ride over the ice.
15 to 20 years ago, we can freeze already from October all the way to end of June. But nowadays, first maybe February.
Okay, shall we continue?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We continued on our way, and after an hour or so, in the distance, I could see the village that 3 days ago I set out to find. We pull into the frozen harbor of this village of 200 people.
Okay, this is Satut.
And I remind myself where I am. I'm on an island, a settlement perched on one of the scattered rocks off Greenland's coast, deep in the Umanak Fjord system, 450 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. The amount of time and energy it took to get here was my first lesson about life on the ice. But this was just the beginning.
The first thing I want to know about this place is how do they get their food? That's what we will figure out tomorrow morning. I gotta do something really important right now, sitting out here in the middle of like this deserted field. But I need to thank today's sponsor, who made this really ambitious, resource-intensive video possible. Thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring today's video and for supporting tons of our videos. Like, NordVPN has been a supporter of this channel for like years now, and I'm very grateful. But also, I use NordVPN, I'm using it here on my trip now. I connect to the internet via the United States so I can watch all my shows or connect to all my accounts without getting kicked out because the internet thinks I'm in a different country. When I'm back home and not traveling, I also use NordVPN to connect to the internet via other countries so I can access streaming platforms for better prices, access shows that aren't available in my country. It's just a really cool, simple tool that's just one click away. It's not complicated at all. You don't need to know anything about how it works to just click a button and be connected to the internet. NordVPN has become much more than a VPN though. They are now a threat protection tool that allows you to surf the internet in a way more secure way. So they have a suite of tools that encrypts your traffic while you're online, that blocks malicious trackers or annoying ads, basically just makes you much more secure while you're surfing the internet, which more and more these days is necessary. All of this is wrapped up into one really smooth product. So that's NordVPN. There's a link in my description. Clicking that link helps support this channel. You should go click it. But it also gets you in on a really good deal for NordVPN. You can get the 2-year plan for a really, really good price, as well as a bonus gift that they're gonna throw in. Who doesn't like a good bonus gift, am I right? So go to that link, it's nordvpn.com/JohnnyHarris. Thank you, NordVPN, for sponsoring this video, this adventure, this wild insight into a different world. I'm very grateful for their support. Let's get back to this adventure. There's a lot to see. We are here in Greenland exploring.
After my first night in this village called Satut, I woke up to the dim winter light and could see this place clearly. This is an island, a small one, 3 times smaller than Central Park. Most of the year, it's surrounded by water, reachable by boats from the outside that bring supplies. But during the darkest months, Satut gets locked in. It is now cut off from shipments from the outside.
The ice gives them access to new ways of living, new ways of hunting. And that's what I'm gonna see today. We're going hunting with Nikolai. A local here is gonna show us what this looks like. Hello. How are you? We're having a little pre-hunting breakfast here. Wow, amazing, thank you.
Nikolai and his daughter are about to take us out hunting for the day. He immediately realizes that we're gonna need a couple extra layers to keep these outsiders warm. Now equipped with the adequate insulation for the negative 15-degree weather, Nikolai and his daughter were ready to take us out onto the ice.
So are we going to get to the dogs now?
Yes.
Oh, great.
To the dogs now.
So all of these are your dad's dogs?
Yeah.
Your father's dogs? There are really strict rules about dogs. You can't bring dogs up here of any kind from outside. Only the native sled dogs that have been here for generations are allowed to be up here. And that's because these dogs are a very specific kind of dog that for generations have been a vital part of the survival of these communities in the winter. We're putting on the heavy duty stuff here because we're just out here on the ice all day and it gets cold. All right, it's finally time to see how people live out here during the winter.
Moving over solid water on dog sleds is what Inuits have done for generations. As I rode with Nikolai, we couldn't communicate much because of our language barrier. But one thing he made clear is that the ice used to be a lot thicker.
Ah, that's how thick it was before. The ice was much thicker before. But right now, this ice, how thick? Like this? Yeah, yeah.
Today, Nikolai is hunting for seals, who are at their plumpest right now. And thanks to the winter ice, Nikolai can set up net traps around the edges of giant icebergs, where he knows the seals will swim.
It's been a very important thing to survive during the harsh winter.
There's a seal right there. I see it. I see the seal.
So we got a seal, using an old Inuit trapping method, in hunting grounds that are only available for a few months out of the year. The same hunting grounds where not long ago another seal was caught and turned into food and clothes.
So your pants are made out of the seal, the same type of seal that came from this type of trap. Wow. Are they warm?
Really well.
I was surprised to see Nikolai started burying the seal in snow. And this is where I realized how much Nikolai and I thought very differently about ice. As we headed to another seal trap, I thought a lot about ice. For me, ice is just frozen water that allows me to cool down a drink or ski down a mountain. But for Nikolai and his community, ice is infinitely more important.
What's he doing here?
Removing small powder of snow to make it clear so he can see.
The way that he handled the ice, used it as an anchor, cut it, shaped it, the number of nuanced statements he made about the ice's behavior. We get to our next seal hole, and Nikolai quickly deduces what's happening under the frozen surface, just from a few hits with his shovel. We dig despite the extra layers of ice that Nikolai somehow senses.
Oh yeah, I see it.
And eventually we make it through. Another seal, maybe a pair of gloves. With a long glance into the distance, Nikolai then tells us that our time is limited. But with a couple hours before the blizzard comes, we head to another island to look for ptarmigan, an Arctic bird that is a delicious staple during the winter. During the hunting, we interacted with a lot of what looks like a bunch of ice and snow. But for Nikolai, his daughter, and their community, this scene is actually full of dozens of types of ice, each of them with their own behavior, their own purpose. Sea ice itself is its own category, with its own set of words. Thin sea ice is different than thick sea ice. The ice around an iceberg that Nikolai was studying is also its own category, its own word. There's a distinct word for this ice hole, and a verb that means to chip away at the ice that formed in this hole overnight. This ice chunk anchoring Nikolai's rope has its own word as well. There's a different word for flat ice and newly formed ice, uneven ice and old ice, inland ice, freshwater ice, slushy ice. There's even a word for the deep sound that ice makes when it moves and cracks. The word for cracked ice is distinctly different than the word for the actual cracks themselves, which is also different from the verb for moving through a narrow passage of cracked sea ice in a boat. There's a word for this, the edge where the ice ends and the water begins. There's even a word for the crusty, sharp ice that forms on top of snow, and a word for the water created when snow melts on top of sea ice. And I could go on.
I'm learning a lot about the behavior of ice. Had no idea how complex it was.
This rich vocabulary is an indication of how alive this ice is for these communities. It moves and creaks, it comes and goes, it provides the ground to find food, and then it takes it away. Learning to speak the language of the ice is a must for a community like this.
I'm struck by how he's able to navigate out here. Like, these icebergs are not the same ones that were here last season. They're changing every day. Sometimes they tilt and float and move, and yet they've memorized this space just for this season.
We made it to the ptarmigan island and stopped for lunch.
It's a fact of the world that when you're cold and outside, everything tastes better. I'm eating tea and a poppy seed roll. It's effectively the best meal I've ever had in my entire life.
Before heading up the hill, Nikolai had to show me his harpoon, the one he uses to catch whales.
This has been used for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
We spent no less than 2 hours climbing this island, looking for ptarmigan. Nikolai casually turned to us and let us know that this was actually an Inuit burial ground. This is where his ancestors are. All right, he's going in for the kill. We had a few close calls with the ptarmigan, but in the end, no luck.
No luck. We're heading back to the village with no birds, but 2 seals.
So we headed back to the sled, and soon we were gliding over the sea again, back to the village before the blizzard could fully hit. Nikolai invited me to his home where I met his wife, Anna Sophia. They fed me their favorite food from the sea. Yes, I'm now eating narwhal, the majestic Arctic whale that I honestly thought was a make-believe character up until a few years ago.
Did you catch this narwhal, or did you bought this narwhal from someone else in the village?
They caught it themselves.
You caught this narwhal yourself?
Yeah, they have imported.
And soon we were over in the TV room looking at the tusk from the narwhal we were eating.
So it was a big, big narwhal.
It was big, yeah.
So dinner consisted mostly of narwhal meat, narwhal ribs,
It's good, yeah. It's very salty.
and the delicacy of narwhal skin and blubber, which is cubed and eaten raw, sometimes with soy sauce.
Here we go. Whoa.
All of this accompanied with fresh water from an iceberg.
This is melted iceberg.
So it's from the inland ice, from Greenland. So you're drinking a glacier.
Oh, lovely. It's really good.
And to be clear, I wasn't just saying this to be polite. Raw whale skin is objectively delicious.
Now I understand. Yeah, med dip.
I had come here thinking that this community had no other choice but to hunt during the cold winter. And while they are more limited to their access to the outside world during these months, this conversation taught me that they don't just hunt for survival. They hunt because this food, this tradition of being out there on the ice, connected to this volatile weather, it's part of what gives their lives meaning. It's part of their identity. After finishing up with the narwhal and seeing more seal clothing, I asked something that had been on my mind for a while, which is, how much longer could this small island and all of its traditions survive, especially with the powerful forces of modernization luring people to the big cities?
Do you think some of the traditional practices of hunting and Inuit culture will still be here in 50 years, even with all the modernization?
Yeah.
Nikolai and Anne-Sophia have 3 daughters, and they are the ones that will ultimately answer this question. Their oldest daughter, who's 19, has already made up her mind.
So yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts are about moving away from Satut. You said you didn't want to leave.
In my future, I want to be a fisherman like my father.
You do?
Yeah.
Ah, wow. And what about your other sisters? Are they? Do you think they'll be fishermen too? Or?
No.
No, they don't want to.
Yes. When I asked my little sister, she said, "Hell no."
Oh man, so she won't be in Satut. She'll maybe live in Nuuk or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like she wants to be a nurse, so she wants to be moved to Nuuk.
I left Satut with much more clarity on what life in a small Arctic village looks like, how they do it, why they stay, and why some are leaving. Greenland's capital, Nuuk, is further south. It's a less extreme climate, and it offers convenience and work. Work that doesn't involve breaking into ice looking for seals or stalking birds up a mountain. One that is not based nearly as much on ice that is getting thinner and thinner every year. And yet, if I learned anything from hunting on the sea ice with Nikolai and his daughter, it was that these activities were so much more than just a means for survival. The ice, the dogs, the traipsing around a snowy mountain where your ancestors are buried looking for an Arctic bird, this isn't about efficiency or convenience. It's about connection. It's about meaning and tradition. It's identity, unlike anything I can relate to. But it's an identity that continues to be chipped away at and threatened by all of these forces from the outside world.
But this tension is not new to Greenlanders. They've been experiencing some version of outside forces threatening their culture for a really long time. For a long time it was the Danes, the colonizers here on Greenland, who came in looking to exploit this land and to modernize and industrialize this place. And with them they brought prosperity, economy, industrialization, new forms of development, income. But in exchange, they brought with them an attempt to eradicate the culture here, forcibly shutting down some of these settlements, pushing the people into bigger population centers so that they could work in fisheries and factories, sterilizing the culture and even trying to thin the population.
Forcibly stripping away any population from their land and then separating them from their friends and family would take a toll on any people. But for a culture so rooted in their natural environment, this rapid assimilation effort from the Danes has taken a particularly harsh toll on Greenlandic people.
Very, very fast assimilation that a lot of people lose their identity. That was a mental violence. So many of them just chose to become alcoholic to forget their problems.
As I moved south, I met up with Pauline, a therapist who sees the effects of this every day.
Am Julia Takujipat, Inuya Katsing Juan Dan, Kanokswak, Unam Mission, Inuya to Assetto, Inuya to Bidono, missing Suchikut, and not Torswamic in Naslina.
And those problems from back then continued to many generations. Many of them had no opportunity to heal their trauma. Even the grandchildren of the people who were forced to move commit suicide and have alcohol problems.
Greenland has the highest suicide rate of any place on Earth. Alcoholism is a major problem.
Imin Tornico Ukiut Fiat Madame Sionatim. Melrai Schreiber Jingayadop.
And yet, there's hope in this story. After decades of cultural cleansing and forced assimilation, Greenlanders have been fighting back to regain their autonomy, to regain their culture. Over the decades, their political system has broken further and further away from Denmark's, to where they now govern themselves. And Greenlandic culture, once on the brink of extinction, is coming back. To see what this looks like, I headed south. On a layover in one small village, I found a moment to head down to the ice to meet up with a group of ladies who love cold water as much as I do. Good morning.
Woo! Feels amazing. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I feel awake. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
I got to Nuuk and met up with Kupanuk, a mining engineer that the world knows better as the creator of Q's Greenland, where she shares Greenland with the world in the most amazing way.
All these buildings here are new. They weren't there for like 3 years ago.
The first thing you notice when you get to Nuuk is how many cranes there are.
Okay, so this is definitely not the sleepy little town that I was expecting. This place is big, and it is growing. Everywhere I look, there's a freaking crane.
As Q drove me around, we caught a glimpse of these massive apartment blocks, physical symbols of Greenland's colonial past.
That they are from the 50s, 60s, back then when they closed down small villages and forced people to move to town.
Whoa.
So they were forced to move into those buildings here.
Whoa.
That was the colonization, big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the future new biggest school in Greenland. So it's gonna
The cranes, the apartment blocks, this town of 20,000 people with all of this rapid development seemed like a place where Greenlandic culture goes to wither away, to be replaced with supermarkets, shopping malls, cars, and convenience.
So it's crazy with how much construction they're doing right now.
This is likely where Nikolai's middle daughter will end up, far from home and seemingly far from her culture, from the seal pants, the days out on the ice, the dogs, the narwhal. At least that's what I thought. But after spending a day with Q, I learned that I was wrong.
hoping to buy the fresh seal meat at the market.
Yeah.
So we can have it for dinner tonight.
Okay.
First stop in Nuuk, the butcher. I know what it's like to go hunting for seal, kind of. So it's pretty cool that even here in the city, they're doing this.
Oh, you get some too?
Yeah.
You got it.
Soon we were on the outskirts of town, and I was learning just how alive Greenlandic culture was here.
So we could actually just hike from my backyard and then go up, and then we'll be able to find Tom again.
Do people still go out and hunt? Even though they could go to the grocery store and it's so much easier?
We do it to get extra special food.
Why do you do it? Go out, do all the effort to get special food.
Because it tastes really good. It's different, it's fresh. It's
Yeah.
like the feeling of self-providing is so amazing. It's like a must. We can't live without it.
You can't live without it. Here it was again, that same sentiment that I heard around the dinner table in that tiny village. There's truly no need to hunt here, and yet the people here still do. Do you think that with all this modernization, there's a feeling or a worry that it's gonna dilute or...
I'm not worried about the remote places, like the small places. I'm definitely not worried about them. I can be worried about like my children wouldn't learn how to go hunting, fishing and all that, but I make sure that they do. They get to try it and all of that. We are becoming more and more proud of who we are, how important it is to keep our own language and all of that. So I think it's just like twisting it back.
Yeah. And
was,
are you consciously doing that with your kids? Or
Yes.
In what ways?
So we only speak Greenlandic to them. So we are making sure that they are fully Greenlandic speaking. And we have these great abilities that we should be much more proud of.
Absolutely. That Nikolai and his daughter. His daughter who's like on Instagram and Facebook and has an Apple Watch, but then is out there with the sled dogs. And when I came here, I sort of thought it was one or the other. You either choose modernization or you choose Greenlandic culture.
Oh, no. It's both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can have both.
You can have both.
Yeah.
So no, Nuuk is not the place where Greenlandic culture goes to wither. At least not for now. Greenlanders like Q live modern, connected lives, and yet they retain their connection to the land, the animals, the plants, and the ice that has provided for their ancestors for centuries.
Hello. How's it going?
That night, I ended up at Q's house where I met her family and watched as she made soup from that fresh seal we bought earlier that day. Another meal made possible by the sea ice.
Oh my goodness, that is so good.
Is it good?
Yes, it's so
like
good.
it?
I like seal.
Have a look there, right to them. But of course, firstly, people never know what's under.
I came here trying to understand how people survive in remote villages during the winter. But in the process, I learned several unexpected lessons. Lessons about identity and meaning that comes from old practices. Lessons about the complicated nature of modernization and the poison of forced assimilation. And I left feeling grateful for the people who let me into their world, one so different than anything I'm familiar with, showing me that some traditions are too strong, too valuable to be wiped away by modern conveniences.